Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Today we're making a ninja build for Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles for Tactician Mode. Now, we're going to go over the basics of ninja, but first, how do you unlock this job? Well, if we go into our menus here, we can kind of see the tree as far as what you need to unlock the ninja. So first off, you need 4 levels into Archer, you need 5 levels of Thief, and you need 2 levels of Geomancer. And actually, the pathway to ninja is really, we're going to pick up a lot of good skills from it. So for example, we need 4 levels into Archer, but while we're on Archer, we can pick up the support ability Concentration, which is basically going to ensure that our physical hits always find their mark. And then another quick example would be Geomancer there. I would pick up the support ability Attack Boost. That's going to be another option that we have in addition to Concentration. So just know on the path to ninja, there's a lot of great abilities that I think synergize with the ninja job itself that can make a very powerful build. Now when it comes to the actual ninja job, what is it good at and what can it do? Well, let's start with the stats first. Ninjas have really high physical attack and speed, making them extremely deadly on the battlefield because those are 2 of the best stats when it comes to a physical damage dealer, especially speed. Speed, in my opinion, is just the best stat in the game, hands down, on every single job. In addition to that, you also see that their physical evasion is at 30%, which honestly is pretty good just to have that baked in. And speaking of baked in, ninjas come with dual wield intrinsically, meaning they can use 2 one-handed weapons and attack twice, one after the other. And then when it comes to the ninja's abilities or its job command, it is throw, meaning they can throw shurikens and bombs. And honestly, these are the 2 throwing items that I stick mostly to for ninja because, for example, Night Swords, you get Excalibur and Save the Queen in the normal story missions, but you only get 1 of them. So you're not going to waste it just throwing it away until much later on where you can farm these higher tier weapons at like level 85 when you fight other ninjas. They will throw these weapons at you and then you can kind of make a stockpile of them. But at that point in the game, you've already beaten all of the missions and all, I would say, all the hard encounters. And there's nothing really in this game that, again, warrants you throwing Chaos Blades with your ninja. But moving on to their reaction abilities, they have Vanish and Reflex. Out of these 2, I like Reflex the best. Just overall, I would say even using other jobs using Reflex, it is so good. This is going to double your evasion. Especially, I would use this on a ninja if you're going to pair it with a cloak. It's going to make your whatever character you put this on very hard to hit. Now their support ability is dual wield, and again, ninja comes with dual wield intrinsically. So this is mostly for if you're going to be playing like your main job as a monk or something like a knight, then dual wield is like S tier and an absolute must pick. But for the actual ninja itself, yeah, not very useful. Their movement ability, walking on water or water walking, I don't know why I'm dyslexic. Not really going to have any use cases for this. I would just use something like teleport or any of the other movement abilities. Not too many cases where this is actually useful. So that's the ninja kit. Let's move on to the actual build now. So for the build, we'll start off with the abilities. As far as your secondary job, I really like to make my ninja essentially a glass cannon, meaning they're going to go in there and do a lot of damage, but maybe not have the highest survivability. Now we can stay very basic with our secondary job pick here and just pick fundaments, and that's because of focus. When we use this, is going to increase our physical attack by 1, so essentially just a really easy way to make our ninja do even more damage. But if you don't want to take fundaments, you could take something like Arts of War because, again, with our dual wield nature, it'll give us 2 chances to nuke an enemy's stats or break their equipment. Same goes for aim here. This is going to scale up our damage with a charge time, and we're going to attack twice because of dual wield. Those are both really good options that synergize with ninja. In addition to that, martial arts, I would only take this if you're going to be using chakra or revive, but again, if we're going to be like a glass cannon, maybe shockwave for a little bit of AoE, that could be good too, but probably not going to be highly recommending martial arts. I will say that magic or white magic here, because of something like wall or re-raise, can be very powerful on a ninja, especially if you don't have like a support character. Giving them wall for protect and shell can help out with that survivability, and then obviously re-raise, if they get down, they'll get right back up and get right back to being a glass cannon and killing things. That can be very powerful. But again, I wouldn't be taking white magic unless you don't have a again, a support character. Same goes for time magic here because of haste, this can be a very strong opener because ninjas are already very fast. There's a good chance they're going to be first in the turn order. So if you just cast haste on them, again, on their first turn, they're just going to be lickety split, just boom, 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 all over the battlefield, basically being the fastest character in the encounter by like a country mile. And the last secondary job I want to mention is jump from Dragoon. This can be very powerful if you use equipped polearms on your ninja and essentially just treat them like a Dragoon, but because you're so much faster, that synergizes with jump here, their skill. So it means you're going to be doing a lot of damage, especially if you take the Javelin too. And I know that combination is a fan favorite for something like White Mage because of their speed, but ninjas can do it too, and they can do it better because their speed is higher. And also, obviously, they do more physical damage than the White Mage as well. But for this video, we're going to keep it simple. We're going to assume you don't have a support character, and we're really going to double down on that speed. So we're going to take Time Mage. Again, that's for haste. Now let's move on to our reaction ability. Now, when it comes to your reaction ability, you can take something like counter for an offensive reaction. But reflex here, unless you're taking a cloak, I would kind of avoid taking reflex because we have that 30% physical evasion that already comes with ninja, so that'll get doubled. But we don't have anything for magical evasion, and so I don't think it's worth taking reflex, again, unless you're taking a cloak to double that magical evasion, and that would just make us very hard to hit. That's definitely a play though. Shinha Dorhai, this is also a really good option, especially if you have high bravery. In this case, you can see that I have 96. This is going to make us very hard to hit with physical attacks. Now, something like Mana Shield, if you're going to have your movement ability be Mana Font, then absolutely take Mana Shield. We're already going to be very fast on the battlefield, so our movement being a little bit weaker isn't going to be a huge deal if that trade-off, again, is that Mana Shield, Mana Font combination. Auto Potion, this is always just a go-to, especially for the story missions. Enemies usually don't do more damage than like 150 anyways, so Auto Potion is kind of a universal safe pick. But for this video, I am going to keep it pretty simple and universal, so I am going to pick Auto Potion, but obviously we talk about those other combinations for harder content. Like if you're going after the Zodiac summon and you have a ninja in that fight, I would definitely take the Mana Shield, Mana Font combination for that survivability, because that magic damage will just be too much for something like Auto Potion. Now moving on to our support ability, I really think you only have a couple options that you would want to consider. Again, if we're going for that glass cannon, attack boost, definitely going to be the play just to do even more damage. For whatever reason, you could take defense boost or magic defense boost if it's going to help you survive. Maybe you find that, again, you're taking too much physical damage or magical damage. These both can be really good, and not a lot of people actually talk about them, but they can be handy, especially on something like a ninja. But again, attack boost is probably something I'd prioritize, and we're already going to get it from Geomancer. But the other one is concentration, and this is really just to ensure that all of your hits, both of your sword swings or ninja blade swings, are going to connect, because if an enemy evades them, well, then you're doing no damage. And if you want to hit somebody in the face, say like a knight, which is the most common unit you're going to fight, they're tanky because they have shields. And if they have a cloak on, well, good luck hitting them again in the front. But if you take concentration, you'll bypass all of that and you'll be scoring all those hits. So for, I would say, general missions, story missions, concentration's the play. But again, bosses, something like Lucavi, I would definitely prioritize attack boost and really play into that glass cannon role. And for this video, yeah, we're going to slot in attack boost, and really simply for your movement ability, just pick the highest movement ability. And we are already probably going to have movement +2 from Thief, but if you go a little bit further into Bard, obviously movement +3, really good. And yeah, that is our abilities for our ninja here. Now, really quick, when it comes to your equipment, obviously equip the best, or I would say the strongest ninja blades that you have. When it comes to your head slot here, again, always prioritize your best stat, and the one that I keep talking about all the time is speed. So something like the Thief's Cap, this would be the way to go. But if you're going to go against something that has a lot of status ailments that it could inflict, something like a Lucavi boss here, ribbon, the beret, or the hairband, obviously that's going to be the best way to ensure that your ninja can keep going and doesn't get like doom or stunned or petrified, something like that. For your chest piece, I would go something like the power garb. That way it's going to boost up your physical attack. Obviously anything before this, just prioritize your HP, because you don't get the power garb until a little bit later on. For your accessory slot, again, I would prioritize boosting your speed, but you're not going to get the Hermes shoes until chapter 4. So prior to that, I would definitely maybe consider something like the diamond bracelet to avoid being slow, but it's going to give you a bump to your physical attack as well. In addition to that, for like survivability, again, if you're going to take reflex as your reaction, a cloak, it's going to be really useful against something like black mages or even time mages that try to slow or like cast immobilize on you. Cloaks are really handy for that, again, with reflex. In addition to that, if you're going to kind of break the game, chantage, this can do a lot for our build because this is going to give us permanent regen and re-raise. So in this case here, we're already taking time magic, but if you were taking white magics, you wouldn't need that if you have chantage because you would already have re-raise. So in this case, time magic would be the plays for, again, for that haste ability. You wouldn't need to take auto potion either because you don't need to survive anything because you're going to get right back up. So you would then take counter in this case. So just be aware that your equipment, especially in this accessory slot here, can do a lot to alter your build, and you can get away with a lot of different combinations. Again, if you just take something as simple as chantage here. But for this little showcase, again, this should be up and running by chapter 2, which is when you're going to get the diamond bracelet. Obviously, the bracers here that you get in chapter 4, this is going to bump up your physical attack. Probably the go-to again in chapter 4, but chapter 2 here, diamond bracelet's going to be really good. There's also the power glove as well. So just kind of pick what, again, is already building into your ninja, which is speed or your physical attack. Alright y'all, that's the build, that's the video. Now quick, again, overview on the ninja. I like to build them into that glass cannon, give them like 1 or 2 buffs like wall or re-raise, and then just send them right into the front line to do a lot of damage. Is this the only way to play a ninja in Final Fantasy Tactics? Absolutely not. Let me know how you guys like to build out your ninja, or just thoughts on the job in general, because I do think that ninja is still just like an S tier job in general. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much. Consider hitting that like button because, I don't know, YouTube algorithms, and I will see you guys next time. Peace and take care.